Well, hello there, everybody. Thought I would pop on in here and do a live stream today. If you don't know me or you've just joined the group, my name is Brianna McWilliam. I'm an author, educator, Reiki practitioner, and creative arts therapist. I've been in the field for about more than 12 years now, and I'm pretty wild about attachment styles and talking about the nature of love and human relationships. And so if you have just joined the group, a big shout out and welcome to you. I hope you've had a chance to take a look at the 4 phases of your romantic journey, and also that you've had an opportunity to check out our free orientation and training. So for today, what I'd like to do is address a question from the private Facebook group and community, a lovely woman who describes herself as capable, reasonably beautiful, and kind-hearted, still struggles with self-esteem. And she wants to know how she can find her soulmate. And so she says, I don't attract the right kind of guys, or if I do, relationships go wrong because I can't commit. And she's left wondering, how do I find my soulmate and my true love? How do I get guys to respect my non-negotiables or to meet guys who have the same values? Okay, so in this video, I'm going to address 3 things. And the first is the contradiction in these questions. The second is the impact of conditional love versus unconditional love and how that affects your ability to attract loving partners. And number 3, how you will know when you found a keeper. Okay, so let's see. So first thing I think it's important to mention is that I'm a law of attraction person as well as a psychotherapist. So some of the language I use can be influenced by the work of Esther and Abraham Hicks. And if you'd like to learn more about that, I invite you to check them out. They've got a lot of great YouTube videos as well. So the law of attraction is basically this idea that like attracts like. And depending on the quality and state of your energy, you will most likely attract more of whatever that is. So in psychodynamic theory, the closest thing we have to this concept is this idea of projected introjects, which is to say that we project our own internal idealizations, fantasies, and desires onto the people around us, and then we respond positively or negatively to how well or how poorly we think that person measures up to our version of reality. Okay, it's basically the same thing. In humanistic approaches with Carl Rogers, for example, he talks about being in congruence or being out of congruence with yourself, and he compares it to when your values don't match up with your behaviors, needs, and or wants. And when that happens, we experience what he calls dissonance, which is a wonderful musical term that talks about rhythm and vibration, right? Now, in the law of attraction lingo, we might refer to that as contrast, or I've also heard the term wobbly. Okay. Essentially, you experience emotional conflict. Okay. So for individuals with insecure attachment styles, there's typically a high level of ambivalence about intimacy, wanting to be close and then not wanting to be close, wanting to cling to a partner, then finding the partner too boring or too nice when they're too easily won over. Okay. So ambivalence is another fitting word, and I believe a synonym for this dissonance or this contrast or this conflict that you might experience in your relationships. So it's basically when something just isn't matching up between what you say you want and what you actually attract and or go after and or are willing to tolerate in your experience, right? In this case, in the context of romantic love. So that's just a little pre-frame. Now let's dive into our subjects for today. And the first one is, I feel that in this question, there's truly a contradiction. Okay. So first, this individual asks, how can I find the right guy? But then follows it up with, I don't commit to the right guys. Okay. So what you're asking and what you really mean are really 2 different things. And that creates that dissonance, right? That contrast in what I'm going to refer to as your vibration. You might think of it as your attracting or manifesting power, the energy that you give off to potential partners, what your soul is actually expressing to these right guys, right? One of which could be a soulmate. Okay. And that is what's actually being communicated is, I'm not ready. I'm not in true love with myself, and so I won't be able to show up and commit to a true love without potentially sabotaging it, or at least I don't think I could right now. So I'm going to place these conditions on my relationships so that you don't arrive right now because I'm not ready. Okay. And so you set up these conditions in essence to protect yourself and to protect the right guys so that you don't really hurt anyone but yourself and maybe a few of the wrong guys that you think are disrespectful jerks anyway underneath it all, right? So I want you to try on a new statement and just to see how it feels to you. So imagine saying, when I look at this person, I can love this person because I am love, because I am a lover, because I have complete and sovereign access to my loving feelings, independent of what anyone else says or does. Do you feel the power in that? Now try on the sentence, I love this person because they meet my non-negotiables, my deal breakers. Okay. Can you feel the difference between I love this person because they meet my conditions of love and I love this person because I am love? Okay. One is much more empowering and one is pretty disempowering. Okay. And also, I mean, you might think of it this way. What if someone said that to you? I only love you when you meet my non-negotiables. I only love you when you meet my conditions. Okay. Now, perhaps someone has already said that to you in not so many words. And in fact, I'd be willing to bet that they have. And so I want you to just reflect on how much stress and anxiety that creates for you. Okay. How confining that is. Doesn't it just make you want to run in the opposite direction? But then you don't because you think that's the only way you can get love. Okay. There has been in this moment a declaration of conditional love, and there is an idealization and a standard that a partner now has to twist themselves into being so you won't take your love away or they won't take their love away, okay? And you have just made that partner and or they have just made you responsible for holding a point of focus for you, for stimulating the love feelings for you. And most likely on some level, you then take it upon yourself to beat, cajole, persuade, seduce, convince, or otherwise berate this partner into meeting your conditions so that you can feel better about yourself and the relationship. Okay? And so naturally, you think this is the best option because your way is the best way. All your best friends agree with you. Maybe society agrees with you. Maybe romantic comedies agree with you. Maybe some therapist agrees with you. And so your partner should just get with the program and fall in line already. Okay? But you really have to ask yourself, is that truly love? Is that even the kind of love that you want? Right? So this is conditional. Conditional love is what you are expressing here in these questions about partnership, right? So this person is saying, how can I get someone to respect my non-negotiables? Okay. What you want to say to anyone in your life is, I love you because I am love, not because you have met a set of my conditions. Okay. When you have conditions like that, you attract partners with conditions as well. And you get stuck in push-pull power play dynamics where each one is vying for emotional control in the relationship. And neither of you is ever going to get it. So you just keep chasing each other through these kind of cyclical sort of bondage. Okay? Now, you want someone who holds no conditions over you. Okay? When you are love, you sit so sovereignly in your own loving vibration that you will attract someone who does too. There will be no need for these power plays. Okay? And that is a soulmate. But that is really terrifying to us. You know, the contradiction in your question suggests you're not actually ready for the thing you're asking for. Because if we are the type of person who holds certain conditions, it's because we are afraid to be vulnerable, to be rejected or abandoned. So we put conditions in place to assure ourselves that those things won't happen. And if we believe we are not worthy or that who we are would truly be repugnant to a partner, we also create these conditions to protect ourselves from ever truly and fully being seen. And so we attract partners that are either never fully quite willing to look at us or themselves as well, because it's just safer that way. So let's break down these words that were used in particular in this question. And those are soulmate and true lover. Okay, so now in this context, I'm going to take the definition of soulmate to be a life partner that meets some set of ideal conditions. Okay, To attract a soulmate, okay, you would need to be in alignment with your own soul first. Do you think that your own soul feels a lack of love? Do you think that the most immortal, enormous, almost incomprehensible aspects of yourself think that you're not worthy of love? No. That aspect of yourself knows that you are eternal, that you are nothing but a brilliant light, shining ball of light, love, and compassion, and what you are fully capable of. Okay. So in order to attract that soulmate, you need to be in alignment with your soul first, with the opinion of your soul. So do you believe that your soul believes that you are worthy? Well, of course it does. So you got to get in line with that first. Okay. So if a partner said to you, I can't love you until you meet my conditions so I can be happy, do you think your soul would advise you to just happily roll over and contort yourself to meet this other person's conditions? Or do you think that it would tell you to politely flip that person the bird? Right? Can you experience true love, if it is subject to conditions? True love would be to say, I am love, and it is unconditional love because it relies entirely upon my alignment with me, and nothing you can do or say can push me out of my own alignment. When you start feeling and holding that stance, you start attracting other people who hold the same stance. You stop, the momentum stops being about ping-ponging back and forth between you. He wants this, I want that. He wants this, I want that. Constant negotiation, ping. All the energy and momentum is tied up in this conversation. But when you are both in a stance of fullest alignment with who and what you are, and with standing and being in love with yourself, it's not this anymore. Now it's that you can both come together and move in a totally new, different direction. Something that generates something so much bigger than yourselves. Okay? And so once you stop making each other responsible for each other's feelings through the manipulation of conditions around and between you, that's when true love really becomes possible because you are the most willing to see and to experience each other exactly for who you are, not the twisted up version of you. Because if you cling to this twisted up version of you and you require non-negotiably that your partner only present a twisted up version to you too, before you're really willing to love them, then you'll never find that soulmate connection because neither of you is really being honest with yourselves. Okay? So to approach this more gently, I think that's what being expressed here is that I feel terribly lonely. I feel like it's too much to ask someone to meet me where I'm at because in my own life experience, conditions of love have been placed upon me. And I have never been able to meet those conditions well enough to truly feel seen or to feel unalone. And so when I find someone that seems to really got it going on, who doesn't stir the same kind of drama within me, I find it hard to stay with them because it would demand that I hold myself as a loving point of focus, regardless of the external validation. And no one has ever really taught me how to do that. And so it feels dangerous and unsafe because I have been told before that to align with myself fully would be to fail to meet someone else's conditions, that I'm not worthy enough just as I am. And so I tell myself that, in this case, the right guys are too nice, and it won't last because I'll most likely get bored, and or I will hurt this good man, and I really only deserve the kind of partner that distracts me with the kind of momentum that perpetuates the cycle of not good enough. Because deep down, I feel that's what I truly deserve. It's what I understand. It's what I know. And so it's easier for me to look outside of myself, to see the conditions that don't meet my needs, and to blame those conditions for my feelings than to take charge of my feelings first and watch the world fall in line, because I know myself. I don't know myself as well as I would like. I've relied on my partners to inspire in me that loving feeling for myself because I get drunk on the feeling of seeing myself through their eyes. Okay? But I'm here asking this question because there is a part of me that is tired of these conditions. There is a feeling of being sick and resentful, of being so dependent on partners in this way. And because I want to know what I don't know yet. And that is how to be in a loving vibration regardless of my conditions. Okay? So when we have spent so much time living in a world of conditional love, being given only that, offering only that, demanding only that, it is really hard to imagine a relationship in which there isn't this ping pong of emotional responsibility, manipulation, and conditions of bondage. So we think those dramatic tie your gut in knots relationships must be true love because at first they're so exciting, intoxicating, and neurologically speaking, there is a real biochemical addictive component. And so in this instance, I've mentioned this in previous videos before, I'm going to say it again, you want to reframe the question. And so the question is, how can I feel sovereign and resilient within myself and my own skin so that I know without a doubt that I will be fine and still find love with or without either someone you're already dating or someone that you want? Or how can I commit to that belief and conviction knowing that I am the creator of my own reality and willing to take radical responsibility for my life and my own experience of it? Okay? This doesn't mean I don't have empathy for your pain. I've been there myself. It's why I'm here talking about this. But I really have an even greater respect for your power, for the authority that you truly have over your own relationships and your own emotional states. And that is the part that I think really needs to be mirrored back to you more so than your suffering. There's plenty of stuff, things, books, TV shows, YouTube videos, other people and friends who are going to mirror back your suffering to you. I don't need to do that. Okay? And so I want to lastly just talk about, I think that sometimes we are trepidatious about stepping into this knowing of the self because we don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it feels like. We're afraid we're going to give something up. We're afraid that the rush, the hit we get from that push-pull drama is going to go. We're going to lose our romanticism. This is something I worry about myself sometimes. But when you meet someone, and this is a person who is really in alignment with themselves and in touch with themselves, and they hold themselves as a point of focus for their love, for their worthiness. They don't hold you responsible for their feeling states. They don't take things so personally all the time. They don't think that every word out of your mouth is somehow related to something that they've done right or wrong. Okay? You will still get those tingly feelings. You'll still get those butterflies in your stomach. Okay? But there won't be that sense of urgency. You're not going to be bored. You're going to be enthralled. But it will be an enthrallment that feels safe. It feels like coming home. It feels secure. It feels like the promise of endless entertainment and engagement, because there's no way that you could mess it up because you're not responsible for it working well. Do you see how that works? And so a partner that knows themselves is only going to enter the sphere of your experience once you know yourself. Okay? And you're going to have to take a leap of faith and understand that you are not boring. That's what you really have to work towards first, is that you are not going to be boring if you know yourself. Okay? Also, a partner that knows themselves, they are going to have passions and pursuits and interests that maybe don't align with yours. And they're not going to sacrifice them to make you happy because they will believe and understand and know that you're responsible for making you happy. But the other side of that is they will make space for you and your interests in the things that you like to do that maybe they don't. Okay? And they're not going to twist themselves up pretending to like the things that you don't because they know that you're responsible for making yourself happy and they're responsible for making themselves happy. Okay? A partner who really knows themselves, they will demand of you a deeper knowledge and honesty of yourself than maybe you are tapped into in this moment or that you've ever experienced before, because they will know themselves very deeply and honestly. And just like you, they want to be seen. They want to be met on the deepest levels of which they are capable. And that is without judgment or expectations or conditions. Okay? So you got to be able to do that for yourself first before you can meet someone else there. You want deep intimacy, you got to know yourself deeply. Okay? Now, the partner who knows themselves, they're also going to love your no's just as much as your yeses, because if you think about it, your yeses just mean nothing without your no's. Okay. Now, it is going to feel like a sense of knowing. It's going to feel like a coming home. Maybe it's the lightning that strikes you when you meet someone, but it's not going to leave you injured and wounded like maybe past relationships have. Okay. There won't be that sense of urgency. Okay. There won't be that sense of urgency. So I would encourage you, that when you ask me, how can I attract a soulmate that meets my non-negotiables? To think about how when you plant a seed, right? You plant a seed and you expect that it's going to grow. You water it, you put it out in the sunlight, you make sure the soil has nutrients in it, and you wait and you expect it will grow. You know that it's going to grow, and you know that you can't rush nature. That's just how it goes. But when you ask me, how can I attract a soulmate that meets my non-negotiables? It's like asking me, how can I yank the bud and make it grow faster? Okay. How can I just pull that up to reassure myself without killing it? Right? How can I make nature do my bidding? Or it's also like you bake a cake and you put it in the oven and you're impatient and you want to eat it right away. So you turn the oven up to try to make it cook faster. And any baker knows that if you do that, you're just going to burn it. You're just going to burn it beyond any kind of edible consumption, right? Can't do it that way. It doesn't work that way. Okay. But if you were to ask me, what kind of plant food can I add to the soil? How can I increase the amount of sunlight that my bud receives each day? How do I learn more about myself so that I can meet my true soulmate where they are at when they enter my experience, my sphere of experience, right? Then that's the kind of question that I could help you with. There's really no answer for the former. And so if any of this has interested you, or you like this video and or of any of the other content that you find in this feed, I enjoy you to like, subscribe, and also check out my online course on healing attachment wounds, which addresses this very thing. How to get in touch with yourself, how to really tap into your inner space and being, how to learn that inner language so that you're not so caught up in the urgency of that momentum, so that you don't feel like you need to turn the oven up or yank the bud too soon. Okay. And so this course, Healing Attachment Wounds, it's 7 creative and fun lessons over the course of 7 weeks. And it takes you from feeling lost and confused about your romantic relationships to really stepping into your fullest and most sovereign self, without having to talk in circles around your feelings for hours or maybe even years on end with no tangible result. And I do have some amazing testimonials on the benefits of the course, which you can check out in the caption of this video, as well as a link to go check that out in the caption of this video as well. So if you've liked this and or it raised questions for you, please give me a like and comment below. All of your comments and feedback gives me more questions like this to answer and provide good content on the feed. So I'd love to hear from you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.